On this week's A Road to Peace, we explore North Korea KCTV footage on Kim Jong-un's visit to a local farm, Japan's colonial rule, and a North Korean gymnast. We also discuss the significance of the recent general-level military talks between Pyongyang and Washington amid a tug-of-war between the two over denuclearization talks. Lastly, we take a look at inter-Korean basketball friendlies held in Pyongyang.
Hello and welcome to our program. While there are concerns about the progress on denuclearization talks between Pyongyang and Washington, many believe the two sides are waging an all-out tug-of-war to gain the upper hand in negotiations. The first general-level military talks between the two sides in 9 years were held on July 15th, raising expectations about future negotiations. On this week's A Road to Peace, we'll discuss where North Korea-U.S. denuclearization talks stand. But first off, we will shed light on North Korean culture and society reflected in the country's broadcast from a couple of days ago. Let's take a look at a short clip from its KCTV.
김정은 동지께서 삼지연군 중흥농장을 현지 지도하셨습니다. 감자 농사를 보다 높은 과학적 수준으로 끌어올리는 데서 나서는 실천적인 문제들을 료에 대책하시기 위하여 삼지연군 중흥농장을 지시었습니다. 경의하는 최고 용도자 동지께서는 해마다 7월이면 감자 역병과 장마철 피해로 감자 수확고에 영향을 주고 있는데 올해 형편은 어떤가고 물어주시면서 농업 부문에서 북부 고산지대 감자 농사에서 제일 난 문제인 낮은 기온과 병에 의한 피해를 막기 위한 농업 기술적 대책을 철저히 세워야 한다고 말씀하셨습니다. 이 농장을 농기계 현대화의 본보기 단위로 먼저 잘 꾸린 다음 그에 기초하여 삼지연군과 군안의 농장들을 종합적 규격화가 높은 수준에서 완벽하게 실현된 우리나라의 표준으로 농장원들의 리상이 현실화된 종합적 규격화 농장으로 전변시키자는 것이 당의 확고한 결심이라고 말씀하셨습니다.
For today's discussion, we're joined by Kim Kwang-jin, a North Korean defector and a research fellow at the Institute for National Security Strategy. Welcome to the program, Mr. Kim.
Thank you for having me here.
So we just saw some footage on North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visiting a potato farm to give some field guidance to the farmers. But what caught my attention was the timing, because that's right around when Seoul's Unification Minister Cho Myung-gyun and U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo were headed for Pyongyang. What do you make of this timing?
Yeah, the timing was, such a coincidence. From July 4 to 5, there was a basketball friendlies in Pyongyang, and actually Kim Jong-un proposed to have that. And he's known to be a very great fan of the basketball, but he was absent at the time. For 2 days, there was a great event there, very friendly, basketball games between South and North players. And also, State Secretary Pompeo visited Pyongyang from July 6 to 7. So on those days, he went to the northern part, that is the northern part of North Korea, called Samjiyon County, and visited the potato farm. They call it, economic guidance, spot guidance, and he talk to those farmers and also the cadres there. So I think he just doesn't want to meet State Secretary Pompeo and have a serious talk with him on the real progress of the denuclearization. North Korea, I think, wants to have some delay for that. They want to have some more rewards from outside, including the United States. So I think he missed those two events.
Deliberately, you're saying?
Yes.
But some people also say that it could reflect Kim Jong-un's focus on economic development. Is that also true?
Oh, yes. North Koreans changed their strategy from the nuke and economy, simultaneous advancement of these two into all-out economic development. So I think that is one of the reasons why Kim Jong-un was there. And also there is a very strong pressure, sanctions on North Korea. So I don't think North Korean economy is doing well now, and the people's living condition is getting worse, I suppose. So he's worried about that. So to speed up their strategy, new strategy of developing their own economy, and also to let people know that their leader is in the forefront of that policy. So for those reasons, I think he was there.
주황 계급계 양반을 찾는 각계층 근로자들은 우리 공화국과 청년에 대한 적대시 정책에 한사코 매달리면서 제1동포들에 대한 야수적 탄압에 광분하고 있는 일본 반동들에 대한 끓어오르는 격분을 금치 못하고 있습니다. 일제 식민지 통치 시기 강제련행 피해자들과 그 후손들인 제1조선 국민들의 민주주의적 민족 권리와 생존권을 보장할 대신 조선 사람이라는 단 한 가지 이유로 제1동포들과 그 자녀들에 대한 파쇼적 폭거와 탄압을 더욱 노골화하고 있는 자료들을 보면서 참관자들은 일본 반동들의 야만적인 범죄 행위를 추호도 묵과하지 않고 1100배로 결산하고야 말 굳은 의지를 가다듬었습니다.
So the second clip also showed North Korea showing hostility towards Japan, mostly for its colonialist past and oppression towards North Koreans who are actually living in Japan. You were also a North Korean, you lived in the country. How bad is the sentiment towards Japan among the North Koreans?
It is the worst. Of course, North Korea was very much hostile to the United States, but I think that hostility, the degree of that is the worst towards Japanese. Nowadays, they are especially talking worse and worse about Japan since North Korean American summit in Singapore, and it's because that Japan was at the forefront of advocating sanctions on North Korea, and they were so much tough on North Korea. And still, Japan is, I think, is the most, sensitive, partner or country who are very much skeptical of North Korea and proposing to impose more sanctions on North Korea. So they are very much hostile to Japan. And nowadays, Rodong Shinmun and North Korean public media all bumping up, drumming up this, hostility against Japan.
Well, I assume there could also be some historic reasons. Maybe the two countries had some problems back in history that could cause this hostility to go on.
Sure, we had a history of colonial rule of the Korean Peninsula, and Japan still didn't settle down about compensation for that. And also Japanese, they are raising this abduction issue all the time to North Korea. And North Koreans, idea is that it is already settled down. So they are very much unhappy with Japanese attitude towards North Korea.
I also heard before that North Korea is very unhappy with the past concerning comfort women. Is that also an issue that North Korea has against Japan?
Of course, that is one of the very sensitive issue, not only to ourselves, but also to North Korea. And also, we had talks actually with Japan and some agreements, but North Korea, they never settled down in that, aspect. So that is one of those reasons why North Korea is so much hostile to Japan.
아시아 교회체조 선수권대회 성인급 여자 2인 조형 경기들에서 우리 선수들이 3번씩이나 연속 우승의 금메달을 안아오도록 이끄는 한 여성 감독도 있습니다. 드디어 여자 2인 조형 경기에 출전한 우리나라의 정금아 변윤의 선수들입니다. 그런데 경기가 시작돼서 1분 12초. 너무도 엄청나고 만회할 수 없는 실수였습니다. 어쩌면 그런 엄청난 실수를 범할 수 있는가? 난도가 큰 기술 동작을 수행하다가 그렇게 됐다면 말도 않겠다.
이건 실패 정도가 아니라 참패다. 잘한다 하니까 너무 자만한 것이 아닌가.
당에서는 우리 감독들과 일꾼들을 믿고 애써 키운 선수들을 맡겼어. 감독들이 자기 본분을 다하자면 어떻게 해야 하는가? 높은 열정, 이것이 창조의 원천이요. 진취적이고 정열적인 감독 밑에 약한 선수란 없어.
이대로 주저앉겠는가? 그럴 수 없다. 영광의 그 시각에 다진 맹세를 끝까지 실천하자.
We also saw a documentary celebrating the life and accomplishments of North Korean gymnasts. Is that a common thing in North Korea? Because I thought it would be rare to see sports stars being aired like that on television.
It is not that much, rare thing. North Korea is so good at, producing these documentaries. A lot of, deifying their leaders, of course, and also they are portraying people, usually the deceived people, who were loyal to the party and the regime, and also those who made a great accomplishment, sports stars and other people. And it is, we can see that they are showing the live gymnasts and other sports stars, who are very much devoted, in their own job. And since, Kim Jong-un took power, North Korea put, great emphasis and put great efforts on developing their sports, including the soccer, So I think nowadays they are having more such kind of documentaries.
Now let's move on to the latest developments on the Korean Peninsula. So finally, North Korea and the U.S. had their first general-level military talks in 9 years on July 15th. They talked about returning the U.S. troops' remains who were killed from the Korean War. Can you tell us more about the significance of these talks?
It is very significant, because after U.S. and North Korea summit, people were getting nervous, because there is no speedy progress on the denuclearization of North Korea. But, this time they met again. And, we've seen that when State Secretary Pompeo visited Pyongyang, there was no big progress, actually, in terms of denuclearization. So people are getting nervous, but it is a good news. There is a general level talk between North Korea and the United States, and they've made decision to return back this 55 remains, U.S. Remains of Korean War. It is a very good news, and as you said, it is the first talk within in 9 years term, so I think we need to have more good news like this.
And also concerning the end of the Korean War, apparently Pyongyang wants to speed up the process, but the United States has been saying that they need more time in order to declare the end to the war, and they also need for denuclearization to precede it before they give any kind of agreement. What does the end of the Korean War mean for the two sides? Is it really important for the two?
It depends on from what angle we see this issue. If we take it simple in a declaration, a kind of political declaration, it is very easy to do that. Of course, we had this armistice agreement, but in 70 years, we didn't have any war. Of course, there was many troubles, but it is easy to, declare the ending of war. But from another angle, it is a kind of declaration that real peace is settled down on the Korean Peninsula. That means, we don't have a nuclear threat from North Korea. But, there is no real, big progress in that aspect. So, in that sense, it is a very serious problem to declare the ending of war. And also, it is related to many other stuff. The UN command, how to handle that UN command, because UN command is here because of that Korean War.
Right.
And there are other, more stuffs, to take care of, so it is interlinked. Of course, having the peaceful settlement of West Sea troubles, Yeonpyeong Island with that trouble in the past, and there was a sinking of Cheonan warship. So, to handle that problem is also linked with this issue. So I think it depends on how and from what angle we approach to this ending of war.
Now, July 27th is the 65th anniversary of the Korean War armistice, and meanwhile, September 9th is the 70th anniversary for the Korean regime's foundation. Do you think maybe the declaration of the end of the Korean War could happen on either of these dates, which appear to be important for both Koreas and the U.S.?
It is important, but I think, from my judgment, I think it depends on the progress of denuclearization of North Korea. Without that, without declaring their nuclear materials and missile capability, and without having this fundamental solution to this issue, I don't think it would be easy, that much easy to have that ending of war. And also, the ending of war means that there wouldn't be a military threat to North Korea, but United States is having that option. If North Korea denies to denuclearize, then there will be the military pressure and also economic sanctions, more economic sanctions. So they take it as their own leverages. But if they declare the ending of war, I think they are giving up that too soon, maybe. So if there is a real progress in the denuclearization of North Korea, I think it wouldn't be that much difficult to have that ending of war.
So it's really a tug-of-war between the two countries, right?
Yes, exactly.
Now, following Pompeo's third visit to Pyongyang, there seem to be some bumps in the road, and U.S. President Donald Trump also recently said that North Korea's denuclearization may take some time. Do you think the talks will continue, though? Because experts, despite the condition of the talks right now, say that the dialogue are likely to continue.
Oh, yes, they will continue the dialogue because, North Korea wants that and United States wants that. And, President Trump changed his positions, several times already. And he's now saying that it will take longer time. That's because, it is so complicated issue. North Koreans are asking a lot. United States and South Korea, they stopped joint military drill. But North Koreans are saying that it is reversible deal. So you can resume that anytime. They're saying like that. But they're saying that, the demolition of the nuke test site, Punggye test site, they're saying that there is the irreversible, action. So there are gaps about the understanding of the denuclearization, definition of that, denuclearization, and also the definition of, peaceful settlement, having peace system, mechanic peace machine on the Korean Peninsula. So, I think it will take some time.
I see. Now, spotlight's turning to the role of South Korean President Moon Jae-in, who was also key to reviving the Kim-Trump talks in Singapore. What do you think President Moon needs to do in order to find maybe a breakthrough in these denuclearization talks?
Actually, President Moon, played a great role in resuming these talks, not only between the South and North, inter-Korean talks, but also, between North Korea and the United States. He mentioned in Singapore that the two leaders agreed upon these issues in front of the world. So if they fail to do that, they'll be punished. They will be take accountable for that. And that is very important because he wants to see more speedy progress in this issue and just to maintain the momentum of this, summits and talks. So I think he will have many things to do in coming months and years in that aspect, to speed up the denuclearization progress of North Korea.
Thank you, Mr. Kim, so much for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. The two Koreas held basketball friendlies in Pyongyang after Kim Jong-un first brought it up at the April 27 Inter-Korean Summit. The South Korean players who participated in the games shared their experience with us. Let's take a look.
Two South Korean Air Force transport planes landed at the Sunan Airport in Pyongyang on July 3rd. a group of over 100 South Koreans, including male and female basketball players and government officials, arrived in the North Korean capital for inter-Korean basketball friendlies. South and North Korea joined forces for the first inter-Korean basketball match in 15 years. We met with the players who participated in the 2018 Unification Basketball Games to learn more about what the latest sports exchange could mean for inter-Korean relations.
되게 궁금했고요. 한 번도 가보지도 못하고 또 저희가 TV로도 쉽게 접할 수 없는 문화이기 때문에 일단 설렘 반, 걱정도 조금 있었고.
남북 간의 관계에 대해서 또 이렇게 농구가 좀 앞장서서 갈 수 있는 거에 좀 많은 영광으로 저희 선수들은 생각을 하고 북한으로 갔었던 것 같아요.
The visit to Pyongyang was especially memorable for men's team head coach Ho Jae, who took part in the event as a player in 2003.
뭐 선수 때는 혼자 이렇게 생각으로 궁금한 점도 많았고 했는데 감독으로서 갔을 때는 선수들을 통솔을 해야 되고 또 좋은 경기를 보여주기 때문에 좀 부담도 갖고 한편은 또 설레기도 하고 했습니다.
The Goodwill basketball games between the two Koreas were first proposed during the Inter-Korean Summit by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who is said to be a huge basketball fan. South and North Korea share a long history of basketball exchanges. Seoul and Pyongyang held regular basketball matches in the 1930s. After the division of Korea, professional teams from the two sides held unification basketball matches in 1999 and 2003. The latest inter-Korean friendlies were the first of their kind in 15 years. On the first day, the teams were a mix of South and North Korean players. How did the players find the experience?
농구 용어 쓸 때 약간 좀 저희랑 다르더라고요. 저희는 어느 정도 영어도 좀 들어가고 이렇게 하는데 거기는 아주 토종말로 하기 때문에 너무 좀 다시 물어보기도 했어요. 무슨 말 하는 건지 몰라서.
In addition to the apparent gap in basketball terms, the South Korean players were also overwhelmed by the cheering crowd of 10,000 North Koreans.
워낙 많은 분이 찾아와 주셨고 또 북한만 응원해 준 게 아니라 또 남한도 응원해 주기 때문에 또 그런 면에서 또 감동도 받았고 그랬던 것 같아요.
뭐 아주 그 체육관이 워낙 큰 체육관이고 거기에 또 관중 수가 다 찼기 때문에 그 호응도라든지 뭐 농구의 인기는 뭐 말 그대로 뭐 대단한 것 같습니다.
On the second day, tension filled the air as the two Koreas competed against each other. For the women's teams, it was a great opportunity to assess each other's skills and strengths before the next month's Asian Games, where the two Koreas are expected to field a unified women's basketball team. South Korean women's team head coach Lee Moon-gyu said he started developing strategies for the unified Korea team after watching the North Korean players on the court.
단일팀이 구성됐다는 소식을 듣고 합의를 봤다는 소리를 듣고 올라가서 제일 먼저 해야 되는 거는 북측 선수들의 어떤 스카우트, 그 선수들이 어떤 선수들이 얼마큼 하고 어떤 장기를 가지고 있고 또 포지션별로 우리가 모자란 부분을 채울 수 있는가 하는 것을 보았기 때문에 거기서 우리가 생각하는 선수들이 한 3명 정도 있었어요.
South Korean women's team captain Im Young-hee, who led the team to victory at the 2014 Asian Games, revealed her ambitious goals for the upcoming games.
뭐 기간은 좀 짧겠지만 그래도 저희가 뭐 말도 중요하지만 몸으로 하는 스포츠이기 때문에 뭐 손발 짧은 기간이지만 잘 맞춰서 꼭 금메달 딸 수 있도록 최선을 다해서 열심히 준비해야 될 것 같아요.
The Koreas will play another unification basketball games in Seoul during the fall, as agreed during the Inter-Korean Summit.
가을에 여기서 할 때는 북한에서 했던 걸 우리가 좀 바탕으로 해서 보다 더 많은 사람들이 공감을 느낄 수 있고 그리고 성숙된 그런 대회를 만들려고 노력은 하겠습니다.
Thanks to the basketball friendlies, inter-Korean sports exchanges are gaining momentum. The Koreas are competing as one in table tennis at the 2018 Korea Open, which kicked off on July 17th in Daejeon.
뭐 여러 가지 분야에서 남북 교류가 된다 그러면 뭐
회담이라든지 정상회담이든지 그런데 보탬의 하나의 일부분에 이바지한다 그러면 또 스포츠면서 자부심을 가질 것 같습니다.
소위 말하자면 스포츠가 그 디딤돌, 조국의 통일의 한 디딤돌 역할은 할 것이다. 그 디딤돌 건너야 가서야 이제 모든 일이 이루어질 테니까 그런 역할은 충분히 할 수 있을 것이라고 생각합니다.
Hopefully, the two Koreas' sports diplomacy will pave the way towards an era of peace on the Korean Peninsula.
This is all we have for you today. We will be back next week. Thank you for watching.